Kia ora everyone, and welcome to the ACE RMO 2026 Waikato Hospital webinar. My name is Sam and I am the ACE RMO consultant. So today we're going to start off with an opening karakia, and then I'll give everyone a brief outline of what you can look forward to this afternoon.
E te atua mana ki mai, e te atua awhina mai, e te atua aroha mai, ake, amen. Oh God, bless us. Oh God, help us. Oh God, shower us with love forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you so much. That was lovely. So before we move into panelist introductions, I'll give you a brief outline of this afternoon. So firstly, there will be a video introduction to Waikato Hospital, and then our wonderful panelists will take you through a presentation that will cover off some key information about their district and the opportunities that are available. And you will also be able to hear directly from district representatives and PGY 1s or 2s, who will then share their experiences working at the hospital and also, I guess, give you a little bit of an indication of what you can expect on a day-to-day. Towards the end of the session, you will have the opportunity to ask questions, and then we'll close off with a closing karakia. So just a reminder, all questions can be posted in the Q&A box or the chat box. There's two icons above your screen. You can post these throughout the webinar, but just note that we will take a moment towards the end to answer those together. Really, this is a great opportunity to have your questions answered on the spot, so don't hesitate to ask. You also have the option to post anonymously if you prefer.
I'm Ram Kejriwal. I'm a pre-vocational educational supervisor.
Kia ora everyone, I'm Tina Gitwell. I'm the manager here at the RMO Support Service at Waikato.
My name's Numoy. I'm a PGY2 house officer and currently the chief medical house officer.
Kia ora, I'm Tori. I am also a PGY2 house officer and am the chief house officer for surgery.
Kia ora, I'm Tani. I'm the PGY1 recruitment coordinator here at Waikato.
Kia ora everyone, I'm Rebecca and I'm the medical education officer here in Waikato.
Thank you. And a big and personal thank you from ACE for being here this afternoon. I know that time and capacity is really precious, so we really do value having you here and sharing all this information with our soon-to-be new graduates.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm a current PGY2 at Waikato Hospital. I trained at Auckland University and I grew up here in the mighty Waikato.
My name's Dylan. I'm one of the second year house officers working here at Waikato Hospital. I'm from Ngaruawa here. Grew up in the Waikato and trained up in Auckland.
So currently I'm working as a urology house officer, which is a pretty fantastic role here. It means I get lots of opportunity to go to clinics, theatre, ED and do procedural lists. I wanted to get a broad experience and I wanted the opportunity to do subspecialty runs. Waikato is one of the largest teaching hospitals in New Zealand and they offer lots of specialised runs you might not get to do at other places. For instance, this year I'm doing urology, ENT and vascular jobs, all of which have reputations as fantastic learning opportunities for house officers.
When it comes to specific things about our hospital, if that's sort of the motivating factor for why you want to choose a specific hospital to work at, Waikato's got some real cool draw cards in that sort of pool. It's got a real neat balance of urban and rural patients.
It's also just been accredited as the first level 1 major trauma unit in New Zealand. So there's a lot of really fantastic opportunity here.
Other things to think about would be like, how long do you want it to take you to get to work? I remember when I was studying, it took me like 45 minutes to get to work, and here halfway across town takes me like 10 to 15.
PGY1 was a busy year. There's a huge patient load here, so you've got to hit the ground running. The out of hours work can be really hard, but there's always support from registrars and SMOs. You're never left by yourself. And because you're exposed to such huge patient loads, you learn really quickly. Because it's the only tertiary centre for the entire Mid-North Island, we see a really wide range of cases and some pretty unique and interesting presentations of uncommon diseases.
Waikato Hospital has got this sweet balance between being just big enough that you get awesome exposure to specialties, which I reckon is real neat getting some experience in some of these different specialties, be it surgical, be it medical. But it's also just small enough that you get to know all of the RMOs here. I feel like we get to bond, get to hang out, meet each other in the RMO lounge or down at the cafeteria, and you do get a good sense of community.
Last year I got really into snowboarding since we're so close to the mountain. That's got to be one of my new favourite hobbies to have picked up. I love the beach. Raglan's so close and it's so beautiful, and there's just endless amounts of beautiful walks and waterfalls nearby, and yeah, a lot of awesome outdoor stuff to do down here.
One of the things that really sticks out to me about this hospital, especially when I hear about other people from other hospitals, and one of the things I'm proud about from here is that this hospital's made huge progress. Some of the lowest polling runs from house officers have just skyrocketed in their polls over the last, say, 2 to 3 years because of the hard work, dedication of the people above us in sort of management roles who are working hard to make the house officer job better. To know that my DHB cares enough for me, that it's willing to do this across multiple specialties is just amazing. And also to know that I can advertise to you guys that you could spend your first year working here as a house officer, and that people would care about you and about how your experience is going to be, and that if you had feedback that it would be listened to. That's huge, and I really value that about here.
And you have seen the video already, and thank you for attending this session online, those who are. District campus, you have seen the video, and you hear more about from Tina, our RMO manager, RMO unit. Yeah, we've got RMO unit, which is involved right from recruitment to anything, including your welfare, any problem. And Tiny will talk about it more. PGY teaching, we have got regular PGY teaching on Tuesdays, and our education officer, Rebecca, will tell you more about it. Clinical attachments, yes. Medical council requirement is you must do 1 medical, 1 surgical at least, and we'll talk more about it later. PGY 2-year, yes, we encourage people to choose their career midway during PGY 1. So you will get a career survey, and you can choose your preference stream you can give, and which also will talk in more detail, and finally recruitment process. So you'll hear all about these things as we go along. Hamilton is central to everywhere within 1 to 2 hour drive, and some of things are listed there. You can see Auckland, Rotorua, and West Coast, Waitamu Caves, Skingy-Roa, Beirut. It did not say Lord of Rings, which also is very close by in Mandir Mata. Kiwi Center is there. You can see like kiwis there, and Geelong Tea State is becoming very popular. So a lot more things. Hamilton Garden is now become very popular, one of the best garden now. So many other things are there. Hamilton was crowned as the most beautiful large city 2020. It has got 3 international sports venues, FMG, and cricket ground at Seddon and Cloton Event Center. And you might have heard that currently we are having a big Reglan international competition going on at the moment for surfing. And the estimate population is around 185,000. That was 3 years ago. And European make 3/4 of the population with 19% Maori, and rest are all drawn from different diversities and different cultures. We have about 160 ethnicities, believe it or not. Climate is mild to moderate around, and that's why whenever you hear bad weather and terrible weather, it is always up north or down south somewhere. Hamilton is never included in that list if you see the weather map. And we have got a moderate year-round, and rainfall keeps the city and surrounding very green. We are home of the Chiefs. I'm sure most of you are rugby fans. And there are many more attractions which are hard, but when you come, you will know more about it.
So Waikato Hospital is based here in Hamilton. Rather fascinating hodgepodge of buildings that we have that have been replaced over the years. We've been on this site since the late 1800s. There's a rather fascinating book written about the history of the hospital, if any of you are history nerds like me. So we have some other small hospitals around the district as well. We call them the 3 hospitals out in Tokoroa, Tomanui, Thames, Tigwere. We are a teaching hospital and we're the major tertiary referral centre, providing our specialised emergency healthcare for the Tamarawataki region. And we are the only major district in New Zealand to offer all the surgical specialties on one campus. And we are the major trauma hospital for this region. So we have about 600 beds. There's around about 200 mental health, got roughly 14 CBAs as well. As a PGY1, you work mainly here at Waikato Hospital, but we do have a couple of people who work out in teams from time to time as well. And we've got some very structured and well-planned postgraduate training for the PGY1 health officers. We've got a new mental health unit under construction, which is very exciting. That's due to open later this year. And we've got a lovely new renal unit that was completed last year as well. Plenty of reasons why you come and join us. Cool place.
So a few stats about Waikato District and Tamarawataki. As Neen said, we have a population of in excess of 180. In fact, I looked it up just before we came into this meeting, and as of October last year, we were the fastest growing city in New Zealand and had a population of 192,000. So that's quite interesting. You can see that we serve a really large group of people, around about just under 1 million people across our Tamarawataki region, including around about 27% of those being Māori and 43 local iwi groups. So our Waikato demographics, we have 550 funded beds, 888 used for planning purposes, which includes mental health, delivery suite, mothercraft, etc. And then our T hospitals, 10 for Tongaranui, 12 for Te Kuiti, up to 53 for Thames, but that would be high pressure, includes the ED beds as well, 17 for Tokoroa, and Matariki and Rotorua are our convalescent care facilities in our region. Waikato District, including Matariki and Rotorua, has 1,044 beds. It's pretty large number. So number of theatres, we have 24 in the main. We have procedure rooms. We have 4 cath labs, which to be fair are going constantly. We could probably benefit from more. We have a fabulous endo suite. Teams have surgical facilities as well. And then we have others in our inter-radiology and ERB being our women's and children's delivery suites, and other facilities and other hospitals. We've got 9. So number of surgical procedures performed, this was a couple of years back, 34,000, pretty large number. Average daily emergency presentation. So the average is around about 227 for Waikato, but can go up to somewhere in the vicinity of just under 300. Tongaranui averages around 18, Te Kuiti 6, Thames 48, and Tokoroa 40. And Thames is quite interesting because Thames is over in the Coromandel, so population burgeons over the summer season with many people from Auckland area and Waikato area moving over to their holiday homes near the beach. So summer for Thames is very, very busy.
I'm going to quickly talk about the PGY1 teaching. So at the moment, we provide PGY1 teaching every Tuesday, 1:30 to 2:30, which is protected time. We use senior doctors or advanced trainees who are all experts or advanced practitioners in their fields to present teaching topics, support career development, and have a dedicated education training unit for this, which is called C2. We've got simulated skills, lab training sessions, suturing, pleural, and joint aspiration, lumbar puncture, and ultrasound. On campus, you've got auditorium and library. Quickly talking about the RMO unit support services. So RMO unit support services is divided into recruitment and rostering. For recruitment, we almost recruit we've got staff up to 600 RMOs at any time. coordinate PGY1 selection with the ACE process, power free and orientation for all of you guys at the beginning of your attachment, allocate house officers and clinical attachments. Rostering, the RMO unit rosters, medicine rosters for both registrars and house officers. Surgical house officers is done in-house. ICU, HDU, registrar and senior house officer rosters is done in the RMO unit. Ops and gynae and peds as well. The RMO unit manages leave and all relief pools. Key support service for all RMOs. The RMO unit would be your first point of support for all general queries, RMO expense claims, leave requests, including medical education leave, bereavement leave, anything to do with health and well-being. Make sure that you come to the RMO unit first.
So Numoy and I are the chief house officers for this year. I believe this is a unique role to this region. It's not everywhere anyway. So it's a peer support role that a PGY2 is elected into, and our main role is advocacy. So obviously we live the junior life and we present the junior life to the RMO Council, which meets once a month, and our aim is to improve the junior doctor life and experience. And this is the Waikato RMO Lounge. We have lazy boys, Sky TV for now, and computers, so you can pop through to a quieter area and do work around the corner that's not pictured at the moment. There's a kitchen with facilities and frozen meals for night shift. There's a sleeping area that's not pictured here as well. That's about all about the RMO Lounge.
Oh, I guess in terms of amenities, here's a sneak peek of our cafe that we have upstairs, which, as you can kind of see in the last picture, is a beautiful view of the lake. You can see out to the hills, out towards Porongea or towards Raglan too on a beautiful day. I'd say the highlight of the Upper Deck Cafe compared to other hospitals in New Zealand is, I'd say, the salad bar is pretty good. You kind of get a range of a salad bar, so you can pick different pre-made salads or kind of pick your own, pretty popular and available for RMOs for free whenever they have a shift. In terms of the RMO social life, I think the big pro of living in Hamilton, as was mentioned in the video, is the very short commute time pretty much to wherever you live. So that kind of means you get a lot more spare time to unwind, lots of social activities. There's a fair few social sports teams on the run here, which is fun. And we also have a ball coming up for the RMOs. So lots of things to do and lots of time spent with the people you love.
Okay, so in terms of what happens with the ACE recruitment applications, obviously due to close in July, we send out all our offers on the 31st of August and we've got a week to return them, and then the talent pool opens after that, and if we have any vacancies we will hire out of the talent pool as well. Our new PGY1s will start orientation next year on the 11th of January. And we run that for a week, and quarter one will start the week after that. So we've got quite a range of attachments for PGY1, but a bit of a broader scope than some other hospitals potentially have. So usual things like general medicine, general surgery. We've also got things like cardiology, mental health, orthopedics, pediatric surgery, plastics, rehab, respiratory, urology, mental health. We also, the first time this year have started sending the occasional person out to TIMS, which is the general medicine run as well. Sometimes we have some CDAs available for PGY1s, but not always. So our successful candidates will receive a preference form like this to pick the stream that they would like to do for their PGY 1 year. We ask for your top 5 preferences, and then basically we can try and match people to the stream of their preference as much as possible. Once we've got all of the selections back, we feed it to an algorithm, and it matches everybody's their list. Not everybody will get a stream of their preference, but we try as much as possible to accommodate people where we can. That's pretty much it from us. We very much hope to see you here next year.
Great. Thank you so much for that and covering off all that information. I wonder if our PGY2s could give a bit of an indication or a rundown of what a PGY1 day may entail.
Big question. I think, as you probably know, being TIs, you're probably getting a hang of shadowing the house officers and seeing what their day looks like day to day. I'd say a general rundown of what a day on a medical specialty could look like is 8 a.m. is generally the start in general medicine and cardiology. You meet with your team, so your subgroup of usually a consultant, a registrar, and maybe another house officer or an offsider, and you tend to run through the list, and then you do your ward round. Sometimes this ward round could be finished by lunchtime, but on medicine specialties, especially busy ones like the cardiology unit here, often they can run right through the day. And it's a matter of kind of teamwork, time management, going through, seeing the patients, doing the relevant jobs. And you also get opportunities to learn from without the day too, from your team, and also asking questions. Sometimes during the day you can present the patients that you've seen, especially if you've either admitted them the night before or if you've had a read up on them before your consultants come around, which is generally a good opportunity for feedback. And then, yeah, I'd say that's your day from 8 to 4. And then you do a long day, I'd say, vaguely once every 2 weeks. So I'd say those are where you do your more independent work, where you're answering job tasks that we call PFMs and calls from nurses for urgent patient reviews, and along with any jobs handed over for any of the house officers during the day. Generally on your first long day at Waikato, it's very supported. We pair you up with another buddy who's a PGY 2 who's done the job before, and they, I guess, hold your hand to run you through your first day and show you that you can do it, do your job. And then you kind of set off and it's out to I guess, figure out how to problem solve and use the skills that you've learned through med school on your own in the evening. And generally, people find the first 3 months really hard, but people learn really quickly. And I'd say Waikato is known for how supportive their seniors are and colleagues are in terms of reaching out for help. So, yeah, something we're proud of here.
Yeah, very much echo that sentiment. I think the major differences between surgical specialties would be their start time. So most surgical specialties here start at 7:30. Which means that really as a PGY 1-2, you're in kind of 7:10 to print lists, look over bloods, check in on your patients, and then head over to handover at 7:30. Long day, the same in terms of we have really supportive subspecialty and specialty registrars. So giving them a call about like neurosurgery is a really good example when you're on your subspecs. So you cover neurosurgery, plastics, cardiothoracics, and a couple of other specialties, which obviously if you haven't worked in those specialties can be extraordinarily daunting. But the registrars are super keen for you to give them a call with anything that you're unsure of and always have really sage advice. So really well supported from a senior perspective in terms of that. The volumes are also similar as Numoi was alluding to. It's a very busy centre, so it can feel pretty overwhelming for the first wee while and sometimes longer than the first wee while, but you learn how to triage your workload and you learn some really good skills. Something that I learned in a past healthcare job was that if you can work at Waikato Hospital, you can work anywhere else because you've got busy runs here and you learn those skills, and then those skills are transferable everywhere, which is a really neat skill to take forward in your career. So yeah, other than that, would be pretty similar to what Numoi's covered in terms of medicine. Yeah.
Great, thank you for sharing that. We've got a question about any support with accommodation and or relocation.
So as a PGY1 coming graduate, you are entitled to some relocation reimbursements, and they it's generally, I think off the top of my head, half of the location costs. Plus, we also pay for your registration and your application for registration as well. So that's part of your collective agreement. I encourage you to take the time to familiarise yourself with your collective agreement and see the details on that, because that will help you. But we have an absolutely fabulous administrator here who does all our expense claims, and she can help you with that. So we can certainly answer any questions once you have been placed in Waikato. Just please reach out to us and we'll guide you about how to go through the relocation process.
Great. Thanks, Tina. Then next question, do the streams carry on to PGY2 or is PGY2 stream selection different?
PGY2 stream selection is indeed different. So in May of each year, you get a preference form to fill in, which is it's similar to the one that we had on screen before, in that we have a whole lot of preference streams. So we have a selection of generalist streams and then also some career ones as well. And you give us your top 5. And we select it in a similar sort of way and try and match those as best we can with people's career plans as well. And then letters come out the same type of same time of year, so sort of late August, early September, confirming what attachments you do for the following year. Yeah. And some of the PGY2 rotations are different to what we have listed for PGY1. So we've got other rotations that are only accredited for PGY2s, like your vascular and your pediatrics and ONG, things like that.
Thank you. Does having spent time in Waikato Hospital as a medical student give advantage in getting PGY1 placement job?
That does factor into our scoring, but there is a lot of other factors as well. I mean, it obviously helps if people are familiar and have been here. So we do take that into consideration, but it's certainly not the only thing we look for. We're really looking for people who really want to be here and who ideally will want to stay with us long term.
Next question, are late starts possible?
Generally, the answer to that is no. And the reason for that is the orientation process, which is a week-long process, is a really important part of integrating you into the Waikato Hospital, as well as the learning parts of the process. There's a social element which is really important for our new doctors coming into the hospital so that they can build collegial relationships right up front, because that collegial relationship is really important for enabling you to get through your runs. And I'm sure that Tori and Numoi would attest to the value of those interactions. So generally the answer would be no.
Thank you. Then there's a question around parking. Is it off-street parking? Is off-street parking safe? And how far away walk from the hospital?
Parking is one of the challenges we have here at Waikato. There is definitely on-site parking. We have specific parking access for after-hours shifts. So there's an off-peak parking option. We are continuously looking at how we improve the parking options. And in fact, we've just added another nearly 400 park available for our people that do after-hour shifts. In terms of off-street parking, there is parking around the area. I mean, people park in it all the time. Probably what I would like to do is put a plug in at this time for public transport as well. We have a number of buses that come up the hill and stop right outside of Waikato Hospital. I myself catch the Orbiter bus, which goes from the northern end of town, and it's about a 30-ish minute ride across town to the hospital, and it costs me $2.40 each way. So, and it runs from about 6 a.m. in the morning to around about 9:30 at night. So we have those options as well. Maybe Numoi and Tori, if you have anything else you want to add in terms of the parking.
I guess I either walk to work, which is a 20-minute walk away, and I know there's lots of people that kind of flat within that distance as well, which is really convenient. But there is, I guess, off-street parking about a 10-15-minute walk away from the hospital. Generally, use your, street smarts and use a wheel lock and make sure you're parking around other people, or if you're on a long day or a night shift, using one of those other options to make your way to and from work. It's useful.
I'm going to go for an unashamed plug. It's much better than Auckland City. It is much better than Middlemore. There's constraints with it for sure, but there's lots of parks within walking distance, and as Tina said, there's heaps of public transport. So I wouldn't say parking is the top reason you'd come to Waikato, but it's also not the reason that you wouldn't come here for sure.
Well, thank you. Moving on. There is a question about rent. Out of curiosity, they say, how much is rent per week on average if living near the hospital? If you have any sort of indication.
Again, less than Auckland. I have nothing against Auckland, by the way. I did med school in Auckland. A couple of hundred for a decent room. So as Numoi said, there's lots of housing within walking distance to Waikato, and in fact there's a few subdivisions that are pretty new and is basically inhabited by the whole hospital. So I can't give you an exact figure because I don't live there, but it is very reasonable. It's very affordable. There are lots of houses that have got a mixture of, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, doctors, nurses, whatever. Very affordable and achievable within walking distance. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Just like less than Auckland, less than Wellington, based on my experience, and maybe about the same or a little bit more than Whangarei. But
yeah, reasonable. Yeah.
Great. Well, that gives some sort of indication. Then there was a question around, is there an interview requirement for applications?
No. Not for ACE, doctors know.
And I guess leading on to that, the next question is, do we make contact to express interest to work in Waikato? Is that something that's required?
Not required. You can if you want to. I mean, if you want to come and see the place, I'm more than happy to give people a bit of a tour. If you're from out of town, you happen to be here, very happy to do that. If you want to reach out and say hello, if you've got any questions you want to ask in person, had a Teams call with someone the other week, which is great. Always very happy to chat to people, but you absolutely don't have to if you are applying through ACE and that's the only way you reach out to us, that's also fine too.
Thank you. So I think that's all the questions, which brings us to the end of our session. I guess following on from that last bit, the contact details for the district is available on the ACE RMO website. And if you have any questions that's relating to the ACE process, you can contact me by email, phone. I'm here to support you through this process, so please don't hesitate to reach out if you need to. Just a very big thank you to our wonderful panelists. Thoroughly enjoyed that. There was some really great information that was shared, and of course to our attendees for managing to watch tonight. If you want to share with your fellow students and friends, noting that this webinar is recorded and will be uploaded to our ACE RMO YouTube channel within a few days.
E te atua ana ki mai, e te atua awhina mai, e te atua aroha mai, ake ame. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope everyone has a lovely evening. Bye.
Bye.